Yo, what's the deal? You got Loan with the Six Skin Poet here to do a video. Because I was looking at some of the blogs and I had to do my research because I don't really follow shows like this. But I was looking at videos, posts, and stuff like that, and I saw an interview where Oprah Winfrey was interviewing Raven Symone and asking her some questions about her personal life or how she viewed herself. And all these posts and blogs were so negative, and I couldn't for the life of me understand, so I watched the video. I'm not an avid Oprah Winfrey fan. I really don't follow Raven Symone. I've seen her on Cosby Channel, like that, but not really followed her. And in the video, basically, Oprah Winfrey asked Raven Symone some questions about how she identifies in terms of her sexuality, and she didn't want to disclose it, and she didn't want it out there, and she just said, I am what I am. And then Oprah Winfrey went to go even further and, asked her how she identified, in terms of her ethnicity, and she said, well, I see myself as an American, not an African American. And obviously, I was fine with that. I didn't see an issue. However, with a lot of the blogs that's out there, a lot of people had an issue, and these people happen to be what society would define as an African American. And I get it. I'm a debater. I like to have intelligent conversation, but I can't entertain bullshit. And what I see is a whole bunch of black people jumping on the bandwagon, jumping on a minority. Because that's what people of mixed ancestry really are when it comes down to it. It's no different than society has always done. It's always followed that rule. That is a learned behavior. And African Americans just tend to jump on the bandwagon at any given moment. And it aggravates me because I feel like this is something that you should fucking know better. You should have better sense than to do the same injustice that was done to you over and over and over to people who you would identify as your own. It's disgusting. It's ignorant. And that's that old crabs in a bucket bullshit that people talk about. Whose business is it? It's your business how you self-identify yourself. Why are you trying to label somebody else? Why are you trying to put somebody else in a box? Because essentially that's what happened. Essentially, all these years ago, you were told that's what you are. You were told this is what your religion will be. You were told this is what your language will be. You were dictated to. It's a dictatorship. Anytime you're trying to tell somebody else what they should and should not be doing. And the fact remains that there's a lot of hate out here. Why would you maliciously intend on trying to hurt or put down someone else whose net worth, this is the part that really killed me when I looked at it, she's worth $45 million. Everybody's sitting up here trying to call her stupid, ignorant, dumb, that she needs to go and do this and do that and the other. Apparently she's doing it just fine. Because of all those people that's commenting, I doubt one of them is worth $1 million. And this is not just on a financial perspective, because when I say somebody is broke, you can be broke in the bank, but you can also be broke in your spirit. You can be broke in your experience, broke in your knowledge. You can just be broke, busted, bankrupt. And when I see these comments from these people, I'm looking at these people, and I look at these people, and I look at their pictures. That's the first thing, because a picture is worth a 1,000 words. So you can look at somebody and you can tell if they broke. You can look at what somebody's posting, you can tell if they broke. And you can also look at someone and you can tell if they're a hypocrite. And that was one of the major things. I have experienced prejudice from everywhere imaginable. I've lived and been to a lot of states. I've been outside of this country. I know what it's like. I identify as a person of mixed ancestry. And so I know exactly how that feels. And it doesn't feel good. And I think a lot of people, they forget because they're not under that knife. They're not under the microscope. But when you get put there, it don't feel so great. There has to be a reason why a lot of people who do not look like African Americans don't identify. It could be because of the negative connotation that's put on them. Or it could be because they actually aren't really, majority-wise, when it comes to, their genealogy, is because they're probably not derived directly from Africa. They probably have something else swimming around in their genes that actually makes them different. But you could never judge that because guess what? You're not a doctor. Or you haven't performed a genetic test to really find out. Quincy Jones, 51% Caucasian. Were you still going to sit up here and you're going to call him an Uncle Tom because he's majority Caucasian? That's stupid. And only ignorant people do shit like that. So when I saw these posts, I confronted it because I hate that shit. Deep down in my spirit, I really hate that. That you feel like you're so good, that you're so this and that and the other, that you can judge other people. So I'm like, for these people that's calling her, coon and Uncle Tom and stuff like that, if you're so pro African American, because meaning African American said your ancestry came from Africa and you were brought to America and then you became an African American. So if you're so gung-ho proud and you think everybody else should wear it as a flag, what's your native language? What's your native religion? I had a conversation with this chick because I knew that she was fishy. She was on this post and she's like, talking shit about her. And I said, I was looking at her hair. And I was like, I can tell. Women don't realize this, but you can tell when somebody's hair has lye in it. Because it looks a certain way at the root. It may not fit. And you can look at different pictures of them throughout time and see the changes, the texture changes and stuff like that. You think people don't see that? So I confronted her. You talking shit about her, but look at your hair. It sure is styled in an interesting European fashion. And she went on to say that, oh, I use a hot comb and I've never processed my hair really. So you're trying to say you use a hot comb and your hair was this texture and it changed it here, not at the root. The root was just as straight as everything else. You trying to tell me that that's just a coincidence? Really? And that in itself told me you're a fucking hypocrite. Because you're going to sit up here and judge her. And then she said, my ancestry is from the Ivory Coast tribes. Bitch, do you know how many tribes are on the Ivory Coast? Which one? Like, it was just hilarious. Like, are you really trying to defend yourself with this amount of information? You look like a fucking idiot. And so I just went in on her ass. And I took some pictures and posted them of women on the Ivory Coast and how they design their hair. And I told her, I said, your hair doesn't look like any of these pictures. So I'm not sure which one of these tribes you're related to, but I don't see it. But it just amazes me that people can be such fucking hypocrites. And then why you would try to judge somebody who's worth $45 million? She's doing what the fuck she's doing what she do. What are you doing? And it's not about money. It's not really about money, but this is one of the most highly paid in terms of her net worth. She's very successful. She's doing a lot. She had her own show. She's 26 years old. She's been doing this since she was 7. At least she's doing something with her life. While you sit up here and you can't even be honest about what you do with your hair. How dare you judge somebody else? Who the fuck are you? Who gave you the right to judge anybody else? What are you doing in life that makes you so great? What knowledge do you possess that you can feel like you can dictate to somebody else? When I see African Americans do this, it makes me sick to my stomach. And it makes me, I'm proud that I have a certain percentage of my heritage is African. Is African where it's derived from Africa. But I'm embarrassed by current day African Americans that do shit like this. It's an embarrassment. It makes me sick to my stomach. It is so repulsive that you can be everything that society has ever been to you, to people that you feel like belong to the group that you identify with. It makes me sick to my stomach. But I just had to do this video because I feel very strongly about these issues, and not a lot of people stand up or say anything about it, but it's there. That prejudice, that same shit that was done to African Americans, they do onto other minority groups. That's all I had to say. Along with the 6 p.m. poet, 2 fingers, and I'm out.